Hello, I'm Paddy, and I'm going to use a bit of fallen yew tree and turn it into recycle it or whatever you would like to call it. And we start off by pinpointing the two centres. We put one end into the headstock. This is the headstock. This is the tailstock. We get them centered up. Then for safety reasons we tighten up. And you can also see I'm wearing safety glasses. And this is known as the banjo. And we turn around and we put that up level, basically level with the centerpiece of the headstock and the tailstock. And we make sure that the banjo doesn't catch the wood. We spin it by hand first just to make sure everything's safe. Then we try our speed, which is a bit low, so we can turn it up. The first tool I'll use is a tool called a roughing gouge. And what we do is we rough it down to the cylinder. And every now and again the friction lets you know it comes slightly loose, so we tighten it up again. And once we have it roughly down to the cylinder, we turn down and we cut a spigot to fit into the jaws of the chuck. And we use a tool called a parting tool. That's the spigot put on. We release the tailstock. We open up the jaws of our chuck. Take out the center pin. Then the piece that I turned, this piece is called the spigot. And we refit the spigot into the jaws of the headstock. Bring up the tailstock to make sure it's centered. And then we tighten up. And you must make sure when you're doing this that it's very, very tight. Then we try it. We can take away our tailstock. Well, after removing the tailstock, now we use the bowl gouge. And this is a especially beveled edged one, especially for. Well, after removing the tailstock, now we use the bowl gouge, and this is a especially beveled edged one, especially for what they call hooking out or taking out the inside, whichever you want to call it. And what I'll be using is the left hand edge for to take out this piece here. So this piece here. So take my tool rest up slightly higher to give me a better. called a scraping tool. And this tool helps smooth out the inside before sanding. This is quite a difficult thing to do, and it takes a lot of practice. It may look quite easy, but it's very, very difficult, because you must rub the bevel while you're actually using this chisel, and if you don't rub the bevel, you will have what they call as a catch, and it's quite liable to remove the piece out of the stuff altogether. Then we take the banjo away for safety. I've just finished using 100 grit. Then I come down to 180. I go then to 240. I remove the 240 and then go to 320. Depending on what finish that you want. If you want a glass-like finish, you've got to go down till at least 400 grade. It seems a long process, but it's not, because the finished product tells us a story. And you must keep moving the sandpaper all the time, and the idea of using the different grits is that it leaves small rings on either the outside of the turning or the inside. And as you go up the grits of the paper, they remove the rings. It seems a long process, but it's not, because the finished product tells the story. And you must keep moving the sandpaper all the time, and the idea of using the different grits is that it leaves small rings on either the outside of the turning or the inside. And as you go up the grits of the paper, they remove the rings. Now that I have gone down the grits to approximately 400, now I use an organic oil that this could actually be used for food. You could eat the food out of it, or you could drink out of it, or whatever. It's food safe for human consumption. Also, what this does is, on the last sanding of the fine sandpaper, if you had a microscope, you can actually see like hair been raised on the grain. And this here removes that hair. And what we do is we put the oil in, and then we give it a good rub. Then we switch our lathe on, and then turn our pad round and give it a smooth rub in. A child could drink out of this with all the safety in the world. There's no problem. Completely food safe. And now what we'll do is, after this, we put our tailstock back on again. We have a piece for to lock on the inside to hold it while I'm shaping the rest of the piece that I'm going to make. Having finished the inside of the product that I'm going to turn, I turn around now and put the tailstock back on again. I put a little bit of tissue paper inside to help save the most inner part from being scratched. I tighten up my tailstock. I make sure that everything's quite safe. And what we're going to end up now, because this is the final pieces that I'll be making, it's going to be, you could call it the Holy Grail, you could call it an ancient goblet, but basically that's what it is. And don't forget, what we have really started from is a piece of firewood. This actually came from a tree that was actually blew down with the wind. It was a fallen tree, and I had the privilege of getting part of this tree. So we go back now to the roughing gouge, and we start shaping the actual goblet. This is what you call taking the rough off. That's when you use the roughing out gouge. I personally love about wood turning, to think that you can lift something, a piece of firewood, and make something constructive out of it. And to watch the shavings fly. Every now and again you tighten your tailstock just to make sure that it's going to run through. As you can see from each cut from the chisel, our goblet is starting to take shape. The chisel I'm going to use now is a 1/2-inch spindle gouge. And as you can see, there's a different bevel on this one as well. A lot of my chisels have all different bevels. They may look the same, but they're not. And you need all these special bevels for different things. This cut I'm using now, it's called a finishing cut, and it's cut with the left hand edge only. It's quite a difficult cut, but with practice it's very worthwhile and very beneficial. And now with my homemade parting tool, I'm going to turn around now. I'm going to square up the edge of the top of the goblet. And every now and again you stop the lathe, check how your work is progressing, and so far I'm quite happy. I've got a little tear in the wood. If you can see it here, this does happen, and that is because the grain is that twisted. And there's also a lovely piece of wood that you can get. It's like a massive bale on a tree, and it's called a burr. And the burr is the most important part on the tree for the wood turner, because with the nuts, the actual grain doesn't know which way to go. So that's why I have a tear here, but we can cure that very quickly. And now to take the tear out of the top of the goblet, I'm once again using my straight edge scraper. Once again, you'll see the butterfly shavings. These are the finished shavings that the wood turner hopes to achieve. And why they're called butterfly shavings is because they float, just like the butterfly. That's coming good, except that's cheap. So that hasn't took that out. So we go again, and this time I'm going to try using the bowl gouge. This is quite a deep tear. As I go in with the gouge, I slowly and surely turn the gouge that the bevel is always rubbing against the wood. This is how you get the best cut. When you rub the bevel, you stop the tool and check your work again, and you can see that the tear has gone. And this is the beauty of wood. A little practice, a little patience, and you can turn something really beautiful out of a piece of firewood. Now I'm just finishing off the stand. Go through the grades again. 100, 180, 240, 320, 400. Sometimes depending on your finished tooling work. I know some turners, and they don't start sanding until with the 240 grit. That's as low as they will go. And if you watch the wood here, you'll start to see the shine starting to appear. And this is the whole idea.